Azan drama. Also, Hasan has supported China like a million
I like
times.
you, I really do, but it's not good to actually be for their independence. I don't agree with the U.S., but by talking like this, you make it seem like you are pro-China. First of all, I am pro-China. Okay, so make no mistake on that front. I am pro-China. I do not mind multipolarity. I do not fear multipolarity. So on that front, I am definitely pro-China, as pro-China as it gets.
But the multipolarity there includes America as one of the polar forces. So by implication, that would be saying you like America too. If you want multipolarity, and for that reason you like China, you would also have to like America because we are the main pole. That doesn't make any sense.
You go. Go.
Also, why would you like multipolarity as a first principle? Like, oh, great, with Hitler leading the Third Reich, finally we have like multipolarity in Europe. Like, what? Like, why? Like, that's obviously that's not actually the thing that Hasan cares about, because if he did, he would be, pro like every far right, like, oh, Saudi Arabia. Well, Saudi Arabia effectively leads OPEC, and OPEC is like a massive economic force in the world. So yeah, multipolarity. Yeah, I'm as pro Saudi Arabia as they come because I'm multipolar. Like, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, no,
they just got a nicer track record in terms of wars. Like, once they start doing more of them, maybe I'll be less pro China. But like,
fair.
They've done like 2, in like 70 years.
Chosen reservoir, baby.
Yeah. And one of them was glorious.
Yeah, it was glorious. Geez, your foreign policy take is so bad. This is like the Crimea stuff in Hong Kong. You can't be a social. I know Hong Kong is famously on fire.
Yeah.
I always check in.
Man, it really is like so crazy how Hasan used to have what I would call fairly principled takes against tankies in his community. And since then, he has been like, he is so desperate to fit in with this like outer orbit of podcasters and all of whom are smaller than him, but like purely to avoid drama with these communities, he's adopted completely indefensible takes, which he knows are indefensible because this isn't the shit he was saying when he was talking to Ethan Klein. With Ethan Klein, Hasan's like, I just want to provide a different perspective on, but then when Ethan Klein isn't there, he's like, yeah, I'm pro-China. Hong Kong? What's Hong Kong? Huh? Glorious Chinese Hong Kong? Taiwan? You mean China? Huh? Like, he's much more confident and candid here with Boy. I don't know who this person is. Turns out the reason he's anti-debate is just because he couldn't defend his positions. Well, yeah, it's always been like that. Admittedly, Destiny was oppositional with him at some points, but yeah, a lot of it was always just a discomfort with being challenged in his beliefs. And that was pretty clear from the start. You reacted to the Boy Ukraine video. It was really weird in Russia. Apologia. Oh, this guy? Oh, I did a video a year ago? I can't remember shit from a year ago. What do you Oh, Ukraine, the unavoidable war. I think I remember this, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, hello. Yeah, that video was dog shit. Yeah, it's like fascist propaganda, yeah. It's just weird that Hasan would fall on the sword like this just to get along with these communities, The weird thing is that Hasan wants more than politics, because let's be real, he doesn't really care about politics. Hasan just wants to be a celebrity. He wants to be a celebrity boy, right? But the problem is, like, he's kind of capped himself there, because as long as he's openly cavorting with, like, lunatic tankies and red fascists, he's sort of put a cap on his ability to grow his audience beyond a certain point. Like, there will be lots of people who watch Hasan's videos and stuff and don't see all of the takes where he's doing like open fascist propaganda or whatever. But the largest audience that you could appeal to, and the one that matters most when it comes to radicalization, is of course liberals. And liberals are not gonna respond well to this. He's been losing live viewership for months now. He's trying to keep his existing audience. I mean, he's still huge. I'm not gonna pretend that he's I'm not gonna pretend that he's like dying or whatever. He's certainly not. It does seem like the exponential growth is capping off somewhat. He's grown like da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da, and now it seems like it's leveling. Maybe it'll unlevel again in the future. Maybe he'll like do another big explosion with the growth and stuff. I don't want to make a fool of myself by trying to give business advice to somebody who is significantly more successful than me. Though I think that by virtue of being the second largest leftist live streamer, I think that gives me something. Man, some of these days he's losing followers. That's interesting. But like, again, I know he's never going to hear anything I say because he's walled himself off and bubbled himself in a sort of protective orbit of lunatics who are only socialist in name. But why? Like, if you want to be a celebrity, why associate with fascists? If you want to grow, then why associate with like who benefits from this? I really just think it's an ego thing. It's like the same reason that Donald Trump shifted further to the right. Donald Trump is a racist and is conservative, but he used to vote Democrat. I think that Donald Trump is pretty politically shiftless and mostly just goes along with the crowd that cheers for him the loudest. And it seems like the tankies cheered for Hasan the loudest, so he kind of shifted that way. Okay, basically what I'm saying is Hasan is exactly like Keir Starmer. Okay, that's the exact point that I'm making.
With Hong Kong to see how bad things are in Hong Kong. Because remember, they when the Chinese took over, they executed everyone. It was so crazy.
See, look, he's so desperate to not say anything. He even looks over at Boy Boy for like reassurance, like, "Hey, haha, look, isn't it funny how effortlessly I deflect this criticism?" When in his conversation with Ethan Klein, he acknowledged that they lied, revoked civil rights, and disappeared protesters. Like, he would never defend that if America did that. But when China does it, he's like, haha, his childish deflection is identical to the way conservatives play off civil rights violations of cops committed in the U.S. Like, they were doing the same thing with George Floyd. They were like, oh yeah, haha, that like fentanyl addict sure did like cause a lot of trouble. Oh hey, he's like sat in him for a while. Oh wow, ha. Like, it's the same behavior. It's exactly the same. He himself said China was authoritarian in Hong Kong. Yeah, but like, and now here he is around a different person adopting different takes, like Joe Rogan behavior.
You know, I always check in with Hong Kong to see how bad things are in Hong Kong, because remember, they when the Chinese took over, they executed everyone. Yeah. It was so crazy. It was wild. The only difference, and the only thing that I do criticize China on, is their lack of interest in social libertarianism, for sure. I think that I am significantly more pro civil liberties and pro freedom of speech than the Chinese government is. And I don't even...
Just a light, casual suggestion, you know. Oh, man, love what you're doing, China. You're doing a great job doing capitalism, but worse than other capitalist countries. You're doing great. Hey, little note on the whole no civil and political rights thing. You know, maybe improve that, I guess. But otherwise, you do you. Keep being who you are.
Make the same kinds of, I would say... I don't even make the same kind of excuse that I would make for Cuba, an island that has been constantly under war for, you know, their lack of interest in like free speech. That is absolutely something that I am very...
I just saw a chatter say, you don't criticize the Chinese government on genocide?
Critical on with respect to China. But Hasan being shocked that the normies in the chat really don't f with his foreign policy takes? No, I'm not shocked at that at all. This is like a big part of what different...
Dude, look at his chat, man. But democracy, crying Pepe. But democracy, crying Pepe. But democracy, crying... Dude, it's literally like Nick Fuentes' chat when it comes to issues like this. Like, unironically. It's the like... But the crazy thing is that, like, Nick Fuentes' chat, they know they're Nazis, for the most part, I imagine. Whereas this, like, what is this? Like, seriously. Like, dude, man, I'm just being very leftist. I'm so pro-leftist right now. That's why Ethan freaked out at his chat. Yeah, he has a right to. I disagree with Ethan Klein's takes on like capitalist realism and stuff, and I hope one day I get to talk to him about that. But let's be real here, okay? The world that Ethan Klein is defending is like the best a social democracy can be. Not the best thing I can imagine, but pretty good. And the world that Hasan is defending is a totalitarian fascist state where he's like, maybe you could do better on the civil liberties issue, you know? The environments that both sides were defending there, you know, like, I'll side with Ethan anytime. A social democracy isn't socialism, but it's a hell of a lot closer to socialism than whatever the China is doing. Would you debate Hasan? Are you kidding me? Of course I would debate Hasan.
But differentiates me from a lot of other, I would say, left-leaning, left-adjacent content creators in the United States of America. This is why they always say Hasan is so American-centric. Hong Kong is no longer a democracy because of China.
It was so democratic.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it was more democratic before. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah, I know.
Now people are living in like tiny little cages in apartments, like that.
This, like, again, the rhetoric here is identical to the way fascists defend their countries. Literally, it's like fascists will be on their live stream, they'll be like, oh yeah, dude, in Nazi Germany, actually, like, every single person was in a camp. Like, it's childish, but it's the kind of childish that harkens to Sartre's, like, the words of the anti-Semite, right? Anti-Semites like to play with words because they know they are not bound by them. Like Ethan Klein tries to lay out his arguments as best he can. He's not perfect at it, and I don't like all the things that he has to say, but he is trying to say something, and he wants to say it meaningfully. Even when Ethan Klein was talking to his chat, he was sincerely trying to express what he felt, right? Like, even if I disagree with the perspective, I think it's meaningful that you're trying to earnestly defend it, right? Like, you're not doing this sarcastic, half-assed, like, play-by-play or whatever. You can see this in how I argue with chat. When I argue with chat, it means a guaranteed hour of me, like, yelling at and picking through arguments, but they're certainly full of me sincerely defending what I believe in. I hate being misunderstood. When I see someone in chat say something that I think is a mischaracterization of my position, I don't just go like, yeah, man, that's what I want. I usually, like, extensively, and one might even say to an absurd and boring degree, engage with it to try to re-explain and also on their own. And then when Hasan sees people in chat, he's like, yeah, dude, there was such a democracy before. Yeah, bro. That's why I'm pro-China. Like that. This Hasan clip is aged like milk.
I've gotten numb to the criticism. Like, it's not. As a matter of fact, I seek it out now because I make content out of it. I think it's funny.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm not. No. I'm not. What is this?
It's like,
So this is kind of sad and dystopian. This huge group of people were seen live streaming under a bridge in China.
the person that posted this actually clarified that it wasn't even like a negative thing, by the way, which is really interesting. Apparently in China, they have like local. I have a lot to say about this. Okay, number one, China has like local streams, I guess. So they go to like wealthy neighborhoods. But more importantly, like people are like, oh, this is so dystopian. This is so dystopian. It's like, dog, how do they have 5G underground?
What? First of all, they're under a bridge. I have 5G when I walk under bridges. Second of all, what the fuck does that... What? It sounds like he knows he has to reflexively defend China, but he doesn't know how, like, what to say. So he's like, yo, check out that 5G, huh? Some dystopia. There's no... He knows he has to defend it.
Like, that's the only thing I care about right now. How? How are they literally under a bridge and they got like straight bars down there? What is happening?
What? You know what this reminds me of? I probably shouldn't even try to find this because I'm not going to. This reminds me of the Folding Ideas video on Decentraland and the Metaverse, where in an effort to show how insincere and grifty the advocates for this metaverse are, he shows somebody who tries to hype it up in a really sort of disingenuous and pathetic way. And I don't know if I'd even be able to find it, but if somebody could find a timestamp of that guy who's part of like the journalism group and he goes like, yo, that was mic check or something. This is so not conducive to the format of the criticism, but it just reminds me so much of that kind of insincerity.
No way! Do you hear that, motherfucker? That's what the metaverse was missing! Metal!
That is very true. Holy shit, that is very freaking true. Wow. That was Big Dave. Says Big Dave is talking. Listen the fuck up. Wow. That was... Wow. Wow. That was sound check. You gotta be kidding me. That was freaking sound check. You gotta be kidding me.
I know, right? It's pretty disappointing that after all that talk about the philosophy of journalism, this ship runs aground over the fact that nothing remotely worth reporting happens in Decentraland in the first place. So
it's such a good video. Okay, do you understand what I mean though with regards to Hasan, right? When he's like, yo, they got 5G under that bridge in China. glorious people's China. Like he knows he has to say something Yeah.
What have they done in China that we do not have?
Probably not even on 5G. They probably have a Wi-Fi connection. Like somebody's using a hotspot. Like if they're all there, it would make sense that they.
Anyway, does anyone have that link? Actually, let's take a look at that shit real quick.
Okay, I don't know, man. I don't know. I love how he just casually glances over how depressing that scene is. If the video just hadn't said it was in China, he would have gone off on a tirade about how f***ed up it is that people are so desperate for money that they're basically like forming homeless camps under bridges to try to like live stream or whatever so they can like leech off Wi-Fi. And if it had not said China, seriously, if it hadn't said China, he would have said that. If he had said it was in any American city or whatever, that would have been that. But yeah, he has to, yeah. Are they homeless? My guess is that they were leeching off Wi-Fi or something, or like there was just an unusually strong signal there and they could do vlogging or live streaming there because their houses don't have good connection or they don't have the space or the equipment or the electrical connection or whatever. Sorry, they would have electricity, but like maybe the setup for the lights and stuff. It depends on which area they're in, I guess. A lot of them can be really poor. I don't want to downplay how poor some parts of China are, right? Like everyone sees those videos of all their big bustling cities, but you can break it down GDP per capita like by region. There are parts of China where they are very poor, so I don't want to pretend those people don't exist. They camp in high income areas to get rich people donos from regional streaming. Oh, really? Oh, it's regional. So like they're streaming in area, like they would go to like Beverly Hills and stream, and it's like, oh, streaming in area Beverly Hills, which means the people who would see the streams are in Beverly Hills, which means they would have more money to donate. Dude, that's dystopian as